Hello, ANEW You, and welcome. I am Coach Ivy, and I am back. I am here sharing my last book that I published called I Know My Worth. So I am continuing the story. I want you to go on a journey with me and how I discovered my worth. And I want to encourage those who are tuning in to know their worth as well. So last time I left off on some unexpected trauma that happened to me as a little girl, 9 years old, on my birthday. So I'm going to just read out of my book and then I will interject as I go along. Thank you for joining me. Share this a video with your family, friends, and foes. Just share. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube under Stepping Into a New You. I would greatly appreciate your support. Got to get those numbers up, right? Yes, I do. So I'm continuing on page 8 of my book, I Know My Worth. Now, if you want to join me, get your copy of this book so we can discuss it. You can get it on my website, footprintenterprisesllc.com, or you can go on over to Amazon and go ahead and grab your copy. You know, if you got Prime, it'll get there quick, fast, in a hurry, so you can join me on this journey as I go through this book. So I'm on page 8 and it says, I can remember being this happy go lucky little girl. And then I became an introvert. I can remember singing and dancing on our front porch for relatives. I became fearful and withdrawn after this event in my life. My system was in shock due to what had I had experienced. I didn't tell anyone what happened to me, and I didn't have the words to explain it. I didn't see him for months. I remember our home had caught on fire from a neighbor smoking in the attic next door, and we had to move. One day, that man appeared back in our lives, and he was now living with us. So I'm going to back up a little bit, give you a little bit more history here. So, yes, I can remember being on our front porch, dancing and singing in front of relatives. But after the incident occurred, I became withdrawn. I became shy. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to speak out. So, I want parents and caregivers to be mindful. If you have little children in your home, watch their behavior, watch who are they around. If they have always been outgoing and now they're quiet and silent, please check in. Something is going on in the home, at school, at a relative's home. Just check in. And if they were quiet and now they're lashing out, you know your child better than anyone. Something is going on. So check in with them. Check in. And then having to move from your home because the house caught on fire, that's another traumatic event. Being uprooted from your home. And then we moved all the way on the other side of town. But after the trauma I experienced, I didn't see this guy for some time, for some months until we moved. Now he's living with us. He's living with us. I remember what he had done to me, and I didn't like him. I was a scared little girl. I lived in fear. I was tormented. I had low self esteem. I hated my name. I was bullied. I thought I was ugly. And I had anger and unforgiveness in my heart. Yes, I was bullied as a little girl. My name is Ivy. Isn't it? It's beautiful. I love it now. But growing up, I was bullied because of my name. They would call me Poison Ivy, dishwashing, liquid ivory soap. I hated my name, but I'm good. I'm delivered. I'm healed. I'm made whole. I love my name. It is beautiful. But children can be mean and cruel. So that's what I mean, parents. Check in on your children, check in on your babies constantly because you never know where the enemy is creeping to get in, right? Get in, and they come home, they're quiet and they're silent and they're not speaking. You know something is wrong and they won't speak to you. So start creating an environment where, all right, let's talk. How was your day? All right. Find out who their friends are. Find out what is going on in their lives and in their circles. Okay, back to the story. All right. So he would smile at me with a wicked smile and he would say, I'm going to get you. He would say that to me. He did molest me again, but the thought of it happening again was very terrifying thoughts to live with. I had to constantly relive the event that had already happened to me, and it was very terrifying as a little girl. And I stayed away from this man. One day, my mom asked me why I didn't like him. He knew I didn't like him, and my mom knew. He knew I didn't like him, and my mom knew that I didn't like him. You know, as this little girl, I thought this is my out. This is my time. My mom is going to believe me, right? I thought to myself, this would be the day that my mom will get rid of him. I told my mom exactly what happened to me, and she didn't believe me. And she said, Girl, ain't nothing happened to you. Must have been something you saw on TV. You know, there are a lot of parents and caregivers in denial. A child is not going to just make up something to make up something. Something that you've never heard them say before, just out of the blue, they're going to say something. Listen to them. Don't be in denial and don't ignore them. Don't do that. The next day, that day, forever silenced my voice. And I wouldn't speak up for myself. If your mom doesn't have your back, who will? If your mom doesn't believe you, who will? And there are so many children in that place right now who have experienced trauma, and their mom, dad, or guardians do not believe them. For the next few years, he tried to molest me again, but I wouldn't let him get that close to me. When he saw that his attempts weren't working, he moved on to his next victim. And believe me, there were more victims. There were more victims. Years later, I found out those victims who they were. I found out who they were. One of them he had a child with, and another one was a family relative. Family. So this perpetrator, all right, was browsing looking for any target that he could traumatize and use. That one incident in my life has shaped and molded me into the woman I am today. And because of that, because of what has happened to me, I can recognize when a child is going through something by looking into their eyes. I could just look at their eyes. You know, I have been looking at some of my old pictures when I was small or high school pictures, and my eyes were so sad. As a child, you should be happy and go lucky, not sad, dealing with the things that adults deal with, right? Even their mannerism can portray that they have had terrible experiences. Are they timid? All right. They don't want to be around people. They don't want anyone to touch them. They don't want to go by certain people, right? The enemy wants us to believe that it will never get better, but he is a liar, and we must stop his voice in our minds. We must stop those voices in our minds that it will never get better because there is a way out. We have to open up our mouth and tell our story, tell our truth until someone believes you. But you know what? People may never believe you. But as long as you know what has happened to you, Jesus, as long as you know, you hold on to that because God is going to use that as your story, as your testimony to be of an encouragement to someone else. And I thank God that I am healed, right? And God will give you a spirit of boldness to tell your story, to encourage and empower others. And I'm grateful on today. I am grateful. I have learned to be free from the pain, healed, and made whole. We must confront those painful areas in our lives that have caused so much trauma. When you are ready to confront those past experiences, you must expose them. You must tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you, God. God, be your strength as you expose the lies of the enemy in your life. Don't let the enemy keep you from going to that place of pain. He will use fear, doubt, and questions of what ifs. For each question that does come up, play it out in your mind. What if they get mad at you? Oh, well, I am sure it's not going to be the first time they get mad at you or the last. What if they don't talk to you anymore? Oh, well, it's their loss. If they can remove you from their lives, they didn't appreciate your value in the first place. What if they don't believe you? It doesn't matter. What if they never apologize? There is a strong possibility that you will never get an acknowledgement of the wrong or an apology. That is okay. What's important is that you expose it because we know our worth. We did not deserve it. No one deserves to be traumatized, but there's so much evil and wickedness in the world on today. I'm going to stop right there. Going through my book, I Know My Worth. And I want women, girls, men, and boys to know their worth. God has invested so much in each and every one of us. And always remember, you can become a new you, right? We are stepping into a new you. You can become a new you, but you gotta do the work. Until next time, bye bye.